Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the Duo Group Iron Man. In the previous video, I had just finished playing the League, and in the League, I did the Colosseum for the first time, which gave me the confidence to try it in the main game. And last video, I documented my whole Colosseum experience all the way through to getting the Quiver, and I still cannot believe I got the thing, man. Now that I have the Quiver, the next order of business is charging it up. You charge it up with sunfire splinters. It's 1 splinter per charge, and it holds up to 20k charges. Or you can spend 150k splinters to turn it into a blessed Dizana's Quiver, which will give it unlimited charges, which is the route I think everyone does, and it's what I'm going to do too, because it only makes sense to do that. The uncharged Quiver by itself already has better stats than the assembler. You can see the range accuracy goes from 8 to 18, and the range strength goes from 2 to 3. It does lose the defense bonuses, but there's not that much defense in the first place, so that doesn't matter. Now, the reason why you want to have the blessed Dizana's Quiver, or at least a charged Quiver, is that when it's charged, or you have the blessed version, there's a passive effect, which makes it so that when you fire arrows or bolts with the Quiver equipped, you get an additional plus 10 range accuracy and an extra plus 1 range strength, on top of the normal stats it already has. So my main goal for now is to get 150k sunfire splinters to turn the Quiver into the blessed Quiver. Technically, I think the best and most efficient way to get splinters would be by doing Colosseum completions, if you're able to complete the Colosseum consistently, because you could turn in extra Quivers for 4k splinters, plus you get additional splinters from completing the waves. But that's also going by the assumption that you're able to consistently complete the Colosseum like 1 to 2 times per hour, whereas for me it probably would take me like 10 hours, probably at least 5, probably 10 hours on average per completion. I know like you get better over time, but I don't have the best gear and it's just generally not fun for me to do. The other method would be farming wave 1 over and over. You get 80 splinters every time you complete it, you claim the loot, and then you leave. And while you probably wouldn't consider farming wave 1 over and over to be fun either, I am able to watch YouTube on the side, and watching YouTube is fun. And that is something that I can't do while I'm completing the Colosseum, or attempting to at least. With all that being said, I've never done this before. I've watched a couple of videos on YouTube. I've seen a couple different methods for farming wave 1, so I'm going to figure out a loadout, try some different things, and see how this goes. I'm currently at 7,300 splinters, and yeah, this is gonna take a while. But first, before we jump into it, I'm very excited to announce my first ever partnership with a computer company, Apex Gaming PCs. I know that a lot of people don't want to build their own PC, whether it's because the lack of interest or the opportunity cost of doing so just isn't worth it to you. That's where Apex Gaming comes in. They offer pre-built PCs at very reasonable prices, as well as interest-free financing. And if you're an econ major, then you know that 0% interest means that they're practically paying you to get the PC. Kind of, if you don't think about it too much. They've got a ton of options, so you can get exactly what suits your needs. Now, let's take a look at this one, the Apex Streamer, for about $1,300 or $45 a month. It has an AMD Ryzen 7 5700X, 32 gigs of RAM, and an RTX 4060. For reference, my current computer that I still use is from 2017, from when I first started doing YouTube full-time, and I'll put my specs up on the screen. This standard computer option that Apex offers is way better than my PC, so you'll have the capability to do everything I've ever done in my YouTube/streaming career, and way more. Head on over to their website using my link in the description, and don't forget to use my 5% discount code MUDKIP when you purchase an Apex Gaming PC. Have a look around, find something that you like, and treat yourself or someone that you care about to a beautiful new PC. And thank you to Apex Gaming for sponsoring this video. Here's what I'll be trying to start with, just the Dins and then a switch to the Fang. And before I go in, I wanted to show what the Colosseum board is looking like, the current statistics. I'm at 156 waves completed. I imagine by the time I have the Quiver completely charged, it's going to be a lot more waves completed. And possibly even some more deaths too, who knows. I took more damage than I thought I would, so I'm definitely gonna have to modify some things. But as you can see, wave 1 completed, you get the guaranteed 80 sunfire splinters, claim, loot the chest. When Colosseum first released, I believe it used to be 100 splinters guaranteed from wave 1, but then they nerfed it to 80. So in this case, the abuse early, abuse often mantra has triumphed over the wait for the game to get easier mantra. There's a 1 in 7 chance that wave 2 will offer sunfire splinters, but I think it would be more splinters per hour to not do wave 2 when this happens and just claim the loot from wave 1 and keep on repeating wave 1. I feel like I got my method down now for doing this, so I'm going to test out 1 hour, which I'll keep track of with the hit points XP per hour up here, and we'll see how many splinters I can get in 1 hour. I'm going to keep on claiming them into my inventory and not the bank. And we'll call it 1 hour right here. Let's claim the loot. Probably can maybe do one more, but we'll just call it right here because this is going to put me at 5k splinters. So in this 1 hour, I got 5k splinters, but over the course of doing this method for the next like 30 hours, I would expect over the course of time, it'll probably average down to maybe 4k splinters per hour. But 5k is possible when I'm paying decent attention. And during the hour, there was only one time the Jaguar Warrior spawned because it took too long. I am curious though, well, okay, first off, for each wave I complete, you get 80 splinters, which is 37.4k. So in 1 hour, how much GP worth of splinters did I get? 2.3 mil, and that's with no inputs. I mean, you have to have pretty decent gear to be able to get this many splinters per hour, but the gear I have doesn't require any kind of charges. 5,040 splinters means I did 63 wave 1s in the hour, which means my average time per wave, not just the time per wave, but when you include the time having to run back in and before the wave starts, it comes out to about 57.1 seconds per wave. On one more thing, so it was 24k hit points XP per hour. That means the attack XP I was getting per hour, it's 3 times that, so about 72k attack XP per hour. It would be better for me to use the Fang with a strength attack style rather than attack, but because I have way more strength XP than attack XP, I would like to balance those out, especially doing something that's like a non-bossing thing where DPS doesn't really matter that much. All right, let's go over the method I'm doing. So every time you leave the Colosseum, your HP and prayer get restored, and when you go in, your spec gets restored, which is why I'm able to easily use the Dins. When you go in, your character starts walking to the middle automatically, and you won't be able to move or click to start until you reach this tile. It's one tile past those pillars on either side. Click Minimus to start, and you'll be offered the same 3 invocations for wave 1 every time. It shouldn't really matter which one you pick, but I picked the left one, Blasphemy, because I think it's the one that's least likely to have any effect whatsoever, at least with my stats and gear. When the wave starts, there's going to be a Warband trio, which is 3 Fremniks, 1 for each combat style, and then there's also going to be a mage enemy. And I have Pray Mage and Piety set for my quick prayers. Out of the Fremniks, the Major has a max hit of 12, the Ranger has a max hit of 14, and then the Meleeer has a max hit of 29. The Din spec is an AoE attack that hits the monsters up to 5 tiles away from your character in every direction. It hits them all once, but the monster you're actually targeting gets hit twice when you spec. Because of that, I used the Din spec on the Meleeer because I want to take him out as soon as possible since his max hit is way higher than the others and I'm not praying against him. Also, the way these Fremniks work is that if you use the attack style that one is weak to, like with a combat triangle, you'll always max hit. This means that the Din spec will always guarantee max hits on the Ranger since it's a melee style, and the 2 specs that I do will always guarantee take out the Ranger, so you never have to worry about him with this method. I got lucky that time because usually the specs don't kill the whole trio. Like I said, it always kills the Ranger, but usually the Major or Meleeer, or both sometimes, will still be alive. I always prioritize the Meleeer though, and leave the Fremnik Major and the other mage mob for last, but I'll let a couple more runs play through so you can see how it goes. An important note is that when you reach 40 seconds, a melee mob will spawn, it's the Jaguar, and that will add probably another 20 plus seconds. So ideally you want to be clearing wave 1 in less than 40 seconds. I'm not saying the method that I'm doing is the most efficient, by the way, because more efficient people would probably bring range/mage switches. They probably bring super combats or maybe super strengths for Iron Men, which by the way, your stats do get reset every time you leave. So you go through a lot of potions because you have to sip every single time you go in. Other people would probably spec the Serpent Shaman rather than the Fremnik Meleeer, since the Mage Shaman guy has the most HP, which means it's the mob that you'd be least likely to do overkill damage on. The point I'm getting at with this though is that, yeah, you could bring a Venator bow and the staff and potions and be constantly potting up and switching gear, but I've optimized this method in a way that works best for my playstyle and that would make me personally enjoy this grind the most, which is as little risk of death as possible while requiring as little focus as possible. Essentially, I've found the Sharp ratio on the efficient frontier to maximize my risk-adjusted returns between speed, enjoyability, and risk of death. Or another way you could phrase that is that I would rather enjoy 30 hours sitting back, relaxed, watching YouTube the whole time, rather than spend 29 hours being a bit more on edge the whole time, making sure I'm always switching my gear, missing as few ticks as possible, and so on. Because at the end of the day, playing efficiently and burning out is less efficient than playing inefficiently. Spookdog is trying to catch up to my woodcutting XP. You and me both, buddy. Yeah, she's kind of going back and forth between leagues and then AFKing the main game when she's working on stuff, because it's around Christmas time right now, so she's crocheting stuff. The main difference though is that she has 0 of these. Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I was looking at Brighter Shores and I did in fact end up dying. How much? 215k. I'm gonna pay a bit more attention. I probably could just add protect item to my quick prayers because I'm not even close to running out of prayers, so may as well, right? Oh. Wait, what's the death fee right now? 165k. See, it is worth it to use the protect item. Well, this is the first time this happened. I accidentally started wave 2. And is there a way to... Can you leave? Is there a quick leave option? So what happens when you get complacent? Oh. Forgot. Okay, well, there's minus like 200k again. Was it like 160? Oh, I didn't... 215, I didn't have protect item on. Nah, it happens. Anyways, what I was gonna do is I was gonna cut to me using the home teleport to get out of the Colosseum during the middle of that wave 2 that I went to, but I never got to that point because I died. I want to do a little check-in here with the splinters because when I take out all the splinters and combine them with what I've gotten so far today, I have just reached 100k, 2/3 of the way there, and since starting the video, it's been like 4 days of real time. But one of those days was Christmas, so it's been more like 3 days so far. Yeah, I did it again, wave 2. This animation's so cool though. I don't think I've shown this yet, but throughout this whole video, with all my AFK time, I have been doing cooking. I mean, there's not much to show, so that's why you haven't seen anything, but there is something to show now, which is a virtual level of 119, which is 94.4 mil cooking XP. We spent most of the day today playing Minecraft, and Spookdog was streaming it, and here's what I did say, like over 600k woodcutting XP. It is finally time. Let's withdraw the sunfire splinters I have in the bank. I now have a total of 150k. Let's do a price check of this. Is worth 76 mil at the moment. Like I showed earlier, if I was doing this efficiently, I would have gotten 5k per hour, which means it could have taken 30 hours, but over the course of time, I went down to 4k, probably even a bit lower than 4k. So it's probably like 35 to 40 hours to get the 150k sunfire splinters. And let's take a look at the board one more time to see how many deaths and how many waves I completed. Got about 2k waves completed, and I added on, I think it was 4 deaths. I did have the XP tracker going to see how much attack and hit point XP I would get throughout this little grind, and I got almost 700k hit points XP, and well, if you know the ratios, you could already extrapolate how much attack XP I got. It was about 2 million, a bit over 2 million attack XP. I don't think I mentioned it, but I guess you could see my inventory, the teleport runes. I did end up doing wave 2 a couple more times, so these house teleport runes did come in handy. Oh, dude, you know what might bang for a thumbnail? What if I did this, and then screenshotted that? Yes, dude. It's like the class, maybe that way, we'll see. It's like the classic 2018 style thumbnail. Good times. Maybe I'll call the video, I need 150,000 sunfire splinters. Yes, dude, the 2-item thumbnail, the title with the numbers in it. Hey, I know a good video idea when I see one. What can I say? I call them like I see them. I've been looking forward to using that one all week. Wait, real quick, before I leave, there's one more thing I wanted to get done. Wait, I wasn't ready. Okay. Okay, there's a combat achievement to kill the Jaguar Warrior. Oh wait, I use my specs. Crap. I wasn't supposed to use the specs. The combat achievement is to kill the Jaguar Warrior with the claw spec. So there we go, got it done. Fun fact about the claw spec, you don't have to use dragon claws, you could also use burning claws or rune claws. Another fun fact about the rune claws is that rune claws are one of 2 rune weapons in the game that have a special attack. It's the rune claws and the rune thrown axes. Now that we have the quiver and the 150k sunfire splinters, what do we do with them? Well, I was looking on the wiki, you bring them to a shrine of Ralos. It looks like there's 5 of them. Here's where they are on the map, and this one, there's one right here that's pretty close to the fairy ring, so that is where we're going, right here, Shrine of Ralos. Oh, this is it. The thing I've been working on for the last, well, kind of on and off for the last week while I've been busy with real life holiday stuff, but the last like 35 to 40 hours of in-game time. Let's see, what do we use? That? No, use that. Yes. It will cost 150k sunfire splinters. Once blessed, it will no longer need to be charged. And you cannot undo this. You will never get the splinters back. So, yes, confirm. The blessed Dizana's Quiver. That's awesome. There is a right-click option, destroy, which I'm sure there's at least 1, if not 2 warning messages if you do click that. I'm scared to even click it right now, though. I'm trying to figure out a way to not even have that destroy option there in case I am like clicking and like pressing 1, 2, trying to teleport out from, I don't know, whatever I'm doing. So there's a plugin here called custom menu swaps. I don't know if this is going to work or not. I guess if it doesn't work, this part won't even be in the video. So I guess this is going to work. Custom menu swaps. We're going to go into the plugin, and then there's an option for custom hides because we want to hide one of the menu options. And the option that we want to hide is going to be destroy. I think this is how it works. Comma blessed Dizana's Quiver. Okay, let's see if that worked. Yes, it's gone. Now I just have to not mess up on mobile. Even in the last video, I never went through the combat achievements or how many points I got from doing the combat achievements. I got 6 out of 13 done, and I already added them up. I got 27 points. As you can see, I'm now 306 points away from getting to the master tier, which is one of my longer term goals that I'm slowly working towards, not too actively going for at the moment though. That is finally everything taken care of related to Fortis Colosseum. All the things I want to get done, at least for now. Maybe if I get a scythe in the future, or better gear in general, maybe I'd go back and try some more KCs, but I am very happy to have this quiver. My work here is done. So long, Colosseum. Ooh, the fun part, because I have the quiver now. Here, let's go to the main tab. We get to move this into the PVM tab, and we can swap it with the Masori Assembler Max Cape, and it can take its rightful place. I just realized the main 3 best in slot capes, they're all red. I mean, the mage one, you could choose the color, but they're all red for me. First piece of content I've done with the quiver. Do I get rewarded? Yep, I had my TOA session that I like to do here and there throughout some of the videos. Besides the quiver providing the DPS increase, I swear I could feel the extra prayer bonus from having the blessing equipped at the same time. I mean, maybe it's placebo and it's not actually that noticeable, but I swear I can feel that extra +2 prayer bonus. And on the topic of the quiver, I want to talk about how you can add a max cape onto the quiver to cosmetically change it, but like all the other max cape variants, it doesn't change the stats of the quiver or add on the max cape perks. It is purely cosmetic. In the case of like the assembler or the infernal cape, for example, the only difference is that the max cape version does weigh a little bit less, but with the blessed quiver, even the weight is the same as Dizana's max cape, so the difference truly is purely cosmetic. You cannot undo it if you combine them together, and I don't know which I like better, so for now I'm going to keep my options open by not combining them. Plus, I'll save 2.3 mil GP. I do want to clarify, this has nothing to do with sailing, because people kept saying that that was my reason for not making an Infernal Max Cape when I got that. But sailing coming out is completely irrelevant to this choice, by the way. It'll probably take like 2 weeks to get 99 to get the Max Cape back and the Max Cape variants back. And I don't think being forced to use the weaker capes like Fire Cape or Assembler for 2 weeks is going to slow myself or anyone down on the road to getting 99 sailing, even if combat is required for parts of the skill. This might be my last raid of 2024.
Well,
Do we get the purple? No.
bad.
It is New Year's Eve right now. It is 9:23 p.m. and we're making food. So I figured I would show you what we're making. We're attempting to make for the first time deep dish pizza. Being from Chicago, this stuff is really going to hit home, hopefully, if we do it right. We've got two different types. We're each gonna have our own pizza. We've got this cake tin here. And over here, we have the cast iron that Kara, Spook Dog, is gonna have for her pizza. And here's all the fixins. Hopefully it turns out well. And we got some other stuff we're making too. I'll show you later. We got our pizzas here, or our pies, and they are ready to go in. Pizzas are done. So here's the one in the cake tin. And then the one in the cast iron. I like how that one looks a lot more, as you'd expect with cast iron, I mean, naturally. But they both look really good. Oh, I can't wait. We have to let it sit for a little bit though. In the meantime, we have Greek salad. We got the pizzas here, and we're watching Idiocracy, which is a movie that's been on my list to watch for years. So, we've never watched it before, so I'm glad we're finally watching it now. The second piece is staying held together a lot better than the first one. I think once it cools off a bit, it holds its shape better. Oh, I didn't mean to. Wow, Happy New Year's. If you listen really closely, you can maybe hear some fireworks. And for dessert, we have Jell-O. Where'd my spoon go? It's actually Jell-O shots, but yeah. And then the other thing that we made for dessert, because it's not just that, we also made lasagna, chocolate lasagna. We didn't have a pan for the proper size of the recipe that we were making, so we kind of just made it into half this pan. But check out these layers. We got Oreo on the bottom, and then, was it cream cheese and Cool Whip?
Yep.
And then
Chocolate pudding.
And then
And Cool Whip on top.
And then chocolate shavings on top of all that. Oh, this looks so good. Good morning, or actually good afternoon slash evening, kind of. I spent the day today just cooking and chilling, doing my farm runs or herb runs and birdhouse runs. And there is one more thing I want to get done this video though before wrapping up, which is the Christmas event. Me and Spook Dog are going to do that in just a little bit here. Hey, look at us, we're matching.
Hey. Rude. Oh, he's all alone.
Good, that's what he gets for being poor. Well, that was a doggone barking good time. I was reading, I saw that apparently all the people from the event, they keep their dogs. Like you can go see them in game and see the dogs with them. And there's one here, I want to show you Ceramic Vars's dog. I want you to see its name.
Okay.
I was going to say, I wonder if they're going to keep the dogs after the event. But then I saw the name of the event is A Dog's Not Just for Christmas. So that kind of, I feel like, implies that they're going to keep the dogs even after the event.
Oh, yeah.
You see the dog's name?
Yeah.
Sir Burris. A regal little fellow. Fit for royalty. Indeed. Isn't that what the queen, or the king, or the God save the queen has? Doesn't she have corgis?
Probably.
Yeah, I ripped my girl Elizabeth. I'm sure she's looking up at us with OJ.
I think this was my favorite Christmas event.
Oh, really? Why is that? With all my AFK time throughout this video, let's take a look at the XPs I gained. It was really just woodcutting and cooking. For the woodcutting, I gained about 1 mil woodcutting XP. And for cooking, it was about 2.8 mil cooking XP throughout this video. That's about it for today though. I'm very glad I got the Quiver blessed, so that is all set to go for any ranging I will be doing in the future, which there is going to be a lot of. I will have Spook Dog's most recent GIM video linked below in the description. And with that said, Happy New Year, thank you very much for watching, and I need to go shower since I haven't showered for 1 year.